What is up, YouTube? Spawn here. I have a little cold, so my voice is going to be a little bit deeper than usual. Hopefully, the audio carries as good as I think it will, due to how deep my voice is. I don't know if the frequency is going to just blast your eardrums, and it's not going to carry through well as I think it is through the video. So just work with me, all right? So today we're going to be talking about Kimberly, obviously my main character. If you saw my last video, you guys know that I went over a few key points of tech. But today we're going to be going over that same point, which is about heavy finger bond, right? Let's just get straight into it. So once you into the situation, this is like Kimberly's most common situation that she gets, right? If she wants to drive rush with it, she can absolutely do that. Excuse me, I got the hiccups. Heavy finger bond there. Whenever she gets a punish counter of some sort, right? Whenever Kimberly gets a punish counter of some sort, finger bond is there, right? It's just always there, right? Even on counter hit from the heavy kick, finger bond is there. Okay, so this is Kimberly, one of her most common situations that she'll put you in, which is good, right? Now, whenever you're doing finger bond, you can cash out in damage, right? You can go for a drive worth combo if you want to, which is absolutely fine. But if you notice from those two situations, they didn't do very much damage. That's because, well, Kimberly's archetype doesn't do very much damage. So what I like to do is I like to put them in a situation where they have to guess once more. So if I have them guess, you kind of see I kind of doubled my my damage that I did there, depending on the option that I go for, of course. Right? No matter what it is, right? But what makes this so good is because if I have Ryu here to mash, so Ryu will mash on the first possible frame as he gets up. Ryu's crouching jab is 4 frame, which is the fastest you can have in this game. Bars, let's hold on to that one. That's a meaty overhead. No matter which side you're on, that overhead will still apply. This knockdown is, I believe it's 22 frames on knockdown. You're plus 22. Kimberly's overhead just so happens to be 21 frames, which means this is like the perfect meaty. As soon as Kimberly lands, you just do back heavy kick, and this will meaty like fuck. And since this meaty is like fuck, you can get the medium target combo. The reason why this is so good, because Kimberly is the only character in the game that can actually link from her overhead without drive rush, right? Which makes this a very potent situation to do. The reason why this is very potent is because Kimberly only, due to her being able to combo from this regularly, this helps her skip the tier list. Well, why? Well, because it's no longer about fundamentals at that point. It's more on a percent chance that you're going to live or die, which is the reason why this is so heavily hated in the FGC. Instead of being a situation where, oh, if I do heavy kick, maybe if I backdash from the situation, I can mitigate 2 options, such as throw and strike, but I still have to worry about them chasing me down. That's what the opponent can do. Or, oh, if I jump that back, if I hold up back at this specific time, at this specific frame, I will be able to avoid 3 out of her 4 options. Cool. But when you're dealing with 50-50, those things no longer apply. Because now you actually have to guess what 50-50, which is another reason why also grapplers are hated, right? Anyway, so now that let's say for instance, you put them into this situation twice, okay? The first time you landed on the opposite side, but the second time you landed on the same side, right? And now the opponent's like, damn, I gotta guess left, right? And not only that, I got to guess overhead, because obviously you hit them overhead twice, because that's probably the most uncommon thing that's going to happen to an opponent, that they're going to be side switched and then get hit by an overhead. Like, that is just uncommon to happen in a game like this, but it just happened to you. And of course, since overheads are fairly rare, obviously people are going to crouch block a lot more due to lows and mids being a lot more scarier. And if you crouch block, you can mitigate the low and the mid. So you kind of OS the situation until you get hit by that overhead. Now, let's say your opponent's getting tired of getting hit by overhead. What do? Well, they're going to start stand blocking now. But guess what? Oh yes, I am plus enough to get a drive rush low. But that's not it though. Guess what also? I can just put you in the same situation over and over again. Absolutely. I know you're going to guess wrong. I know you're going to guess wrong. You're not expecting me to be on the opposite side. But when you expect me to be on the opposite side, I'm no longer on the opposite side. Right? The reason why this is so good is because it mitigates every single option your opponent can do. That includes strike, that includes throw, that includes jump, backdash, and the most important one, it even gets rid of DP. What? It gets rid of Spawn. What the fuck are you talking about? Well, it's simple. If Ryu wants to DP, what is the motion that Ryu DPs from this angle? If I knock Ryu down here, right? If I also knock Ryu down here, dash forward, Ryu should do forward, down, forward for the motion input, correct? Right. But that no longer applies to Ryu because I'm on the opposite side. So if Ryu did the motion input, if I was on the same side, he would just be walking towards me basically. He would either throw a Hadouken or he would do crouching heavy punch due to me being on the opposite side of Ryu. If I cross Ryu up, instead of doing forward, down, forward, Ryu now has to do back, down, back because I'm on the opposite side. If he does not do that when I side switch him, I know this is complicated, it's fucking with your head a little bit, but trust me, work with me here. Let me cook. If Ryu does not do that, he will either get a Hadouken or he will get crouching heavy punch. Well, because a Hadouken is down forward motion, of course, and if he don't get it in time, maybe his inputs are sloppy, he will end up getting crouching heavy punch, which is both of those options, the Hadouken and the heavy punch, are way too slow. I would either get a punish counter or I would just get a clean hit counter. Simple as that. Unless Ryu guesses right, he will not get a DP. Most of the people aren't even ready. Even if you know that I'm going to cross you up, just the simple fact that the inputs are now flipped is actually kind of hard to comprehend. If you guys played a game called Mortal Kombat X, we had a character named Jason Voorhees in that game. If you chose the variation called Relentless, he could actually do a move that fucks your inputs up. Your inputs will all be the same if he warped them. Like maybe standing light punch would be medium punch, or it would probably be medium kick. So your punch buttons will probably be your kick button, and your kick button will probably be your punch button. But no matter what happened, even if you knew the button layout, when Jason basically reversed your inputs, you would still forget because your brain isn't programmed to do that. That's kind of the same thing with Kimberly here. Your brain isn't programmed to do a reverse input DP. So you just wouldn't do it, even though you know I'm going to be on the opposite side. This is what allows me to get that juicy hit and to put you back into the same exact situation that I just put you in previously. But that's not all, ladies and gentlemen. If I cross you up, I don't have to always go for overhead. I can just do a perfectly timed heavy kick to give myself more damage. Counter hit. And guess what? Let's see if I can get this right. Oops. Oh, yes. We're back into the same situation, ladies and gentlemen. Right? Back into the same situation. You gotta love it. But that is not all. Of course that's not it. You dealing with Spawn here. Of course that's not it. I'm gonna show you every piece of tech that I have. Right? Now your opponent's like, fuck, I gotta guess left, right. I have to guess overhead, which is uncommon. A side switch and overhead is very uncommon. At least in Street Fighter 6, right? I'm gonna just stand block. Because obviously if I crouch block, I can mitigate lows and mids. So I can OS those two just by crouch block. But I'm now vulnerable to overheads. But since I got hit by overhead twice, I'll just stand block. Right? Is what I would say. You can now get hit by a drive. I'm plus enough to get a drive rush low in this situation. Oh, and oh yes, yeah. By the way, just in case you think this is a game, this situation is loot. Right? This situation is loot. Right? If you time it right, of course. You're plus enough to get a drive rush low. Right? Now I know you're thinking, oh, well, since my opponent is since Kimberly is going to 50-50 me, what can I do to mitigate the left-right mix-up? Just parry. Just parry. Right? Parrying allows you to mitigate a mix-up. You no longer have to guess high, you no longer have to guess low. You no longer have to guess left, right, because parry covers all four of those options. It covers left, right, and it covers high, low. So you no longer have to worry about that. But what you do have to worry about is throw. If someone throw you while you're parrying, you take double damage now from that throw. So instead of taking a little small, like 10%, you now take about 15 or 20. Throws aren't literally 10%. Actually, I think they are 10%. It looks like it, yeah, 10%. So if you parry, you now take about 20% from that throw, which is crazy, okay? This is where juggling your options start to come into play, right? Okay, I already put my opponent in a situation twice. I know he's going to parry because he don't want to guess high, low. What can you do? You have two options that you can do. Sorry, you can do three options that you can do. You can simply throw them, specifically from this situation. You just simply throw them. Pretty straightforward and basic. But the other two options start to get a little bit explicit. Work with me here. You can shimmy them. You can shimmy the absolute shit out of them. Right? Shimmy the fuck out of them during their recovery. And put them back into the exact same situation that they was just in. Or if you want to get more technical, you can do, since they already seen the delay low, what you can now do, you can do drive rush, delay overhead. And this will absolutely fuck over their timing. Just fucking fuck their whole timing up. Because obviously they're looking for a perfect parry, obviously. But for them to perfect parry, they have to tap parry. They cannot hold it. They have to tap it. which makes you so vulnerable to shimmies, and it makes you vulnerable to delay buttons. This is where you start to implement and juggle your options and your mix-up game to absolutely make your opponent just crumble. They don't even want to play against you anymore. That's exactly what I want. I want you to feel so uncomfortable in the match that you're focused on these mix-ups. So when I jump on you, you don't even know how to anti-air anymore. Like, it's no longer second nature due to the amount of like mental stack that you have to deal with just from off of heavy Fangabon. Crazy, right? I know it is. But that is not it. This makes Kimberly such a huge threat because now you can basically convert anything into heavy Fangabon. Either it's going to be heavy Fangabon or it's going to be EX Fangabon. They both give you the same exact opportunity, right? I can still put you in a left-right mix-up. I can still do overhead low. I can still do whatever I want. No matter, as long as I have meter, right? This will always apply. Maybe I got the overhead. No, this is ideal, but if you know that they're at like 35% health, you don't have CA or level 2, you know this next situation isn't going to kill, I say fuck them. I say fucking cash out. Make them guess again. Make them guess left, right again. Fuck them. Or maybe you don't even want to go all that far. Maybe you want a little bit more extra damage, right? So instead of this little question here, where you only get like, what, 15, 20% damage, you can actually still make them guess left, right by getting a little bit more damage on your plate. That's not a problem, right? And yes, in this situation, I can still choose which side I'm going to be on. I can still choose what side you're going to be on. It's completely ambiguous. The opponent does not know which side you're going to land on, but you do as the Kimberly player. This is pretty rough. This is pretty rough, at least for the person that have to deal with the Kimberly shenanigans, right? What makes this so potent is that Kimberly is a 50-50 monster, right? Which means that it's no longer about tech. It's no longer about fundamentals. No. It's no longer, oh, whenever I get knocked down, I can probably jump back to mitigate 3 of your 4 options. Or maybe if I do a delay tech, I can mitigate 2 of your options, right? I can mitigate by teching a throw, but if you don't throw me, I will be able to block in time to block this mix-up. That's no longer the case because once Kimberly gets in, you actually have a 50% chance on whether you're going to live or die. There's no way around it. Kimberly can skip the tier list due to this factor. No matter who she's going up against, it can be some of the most horrible matchups like Jamie. I would say Jamie is probably her worst matchup, or Aki, right? The moment Kimberly gets that first knockdown, the ties have now changed. It's no longer a 6-4 or 7-3 matchup anymore because once I'm in your face, those numbers no longer matter because now you have to guess for your fucking life. That's the advantage that Kimberly has. I, as the Kimberly player, is that once I get that first knockdown, I can basically kill you. As long as I get you in no, as long as I just guess right, left or right, high or low. As long as I can do that, I can win the match. Kimberly has no projectile. She has to rely on, I would say her footsies is pretty ass, even though she got the light Fangabot buff within the last patch, but I don't think that's fairly good. Let's keep it real. So Kimberly has to rely on doing risky things such as slide or teleport in order to make her way in. Well, somehow, if you just work for it, you just kind of like block the projectiles and just like slowly work your way through it. And then she has a really good drive rush to get her way in that has pretty good range on it, right? But once you in against any character like Gao, once you're in on like Jamie, Ryu, JP, literally their lives are in your hands now. Quite literally. It's no longer in theirs. This is what makes Kimberly so fucking scary, dude. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And your boy Spawn is out. Peace.